What's up, guys? This is my restored original HPI Baja 5B. I recently did a lot of work on this. I only paid $100 for it. It came with a stock G270 Zenoah motor, repaired the stripped exhaust threads, and then I decided to go give it a rip.
Are you ready? They think you can tell us what to do.
On doing a speed run video with this, but of course first I like to go out, make sure that I actually can get those higher RPMs, make sure that the high speed needle is tuned. I was doing my own running off camera, and as always, that's when you get like the biggest failures. And then all of a sudden I started exhibiting symptoms of what I thought was a bad clutch. So basically, whenever the clutch spring breaks on one of these, there's a clutch inside here. I've done a video on this previously, clutch spring breaks, and then basically you just have a lot of friction in the drivetrain. The Baja will not roll forward because the clutch is, engaged. This is the spur gear I just removed from the lay shaft. Let me show you how this all fits together. It's fairly obvious, but, if you've never worked on fit scale gas RCs, this stuff is actually relatively unique. Not at all like a Nitro. These are two-piece designs, so let me remove it for you guys and you'll see what I'm talking about. There is what's known as a spur gear holder. I'm pushing it out here slightly with my fingers. It's a little tough now. See right here? There's an upper piece, which is the spur gear holder, this portion, and this is the spur gear itself. Now in our case, it is a metal. Now, unfortunately, I do honestly like to run plastic spur gears. These are relatively heavy. Plus, these Bajas have fixed gear ratios. So what happens is, you cannot get a larger pinion or a different size spur without changing both of them. Notice these pads. They are fully destroyed. Now, these act as dampeners. They are called spacers. I just ordered up 4 new ones from Rowan. They're available on Amazon. They're available on eBay. It's like $6 for 4 of them. So these are basically dampeners, right? Mine are all disintegrated. It looks to be like a silicone material. In my case, due to age, the deterioration of these pads just caused the spur gear to be extremely crooked on the gear plate. Notice all these scratch marks I have on this piece. Not the end of the world, it is still fully functional, but of course you don't want to have giant gashes like this in aluminum. Also, I noticed I'm missing a spacer here. I looked it up on the HPI website. This is part of the HPI owner's manual. This is the piece I need. Part number 86616. Here on the left, it is just a spacer, and I also need these dampeners. So they're sometimes also referred to as bushings. Very important to see how this should actually be set up from the factory. You gotta make sure you have this spacer, or else you're gonna have a lot of significant wear on the diff gear plate itself, which is exactly what my Baja has. Now let's do a part search on this 86616. I have it open here on the HPI Racing website. It's basically just a small aluminum, spacer. This is what it is. It says genuine HPI quality spare part for easy maintenance and repairs. Okay, in terms of stock status, this is the HRP Racing website. You can get a lot of parts for most HPIs here. And I just did a search, and unfortunately they are out of stock of this part, but it's only a $6 piece, no big deal. Luckily, one of my friends and viewers, Ben, sent me a couple of these in the mail, so soon when they come in the mail, I'll show you guys when the parts arrive. I have a paper towel here with a couple numbers written. You guys know what that is? 53 teeth on the spur gear and 21 teeth on the pinion. I sat here and I counted it exactly multiple times to make sure I was right. It turns out this Baja came with a relatively high-speed gear set. The stock gear set is not 53 on the spur. it is 57. There is a gearing chart I was able to find online. Let's go over it and I'll show you guys exactly how gear ratios are set for these Bajas. Not at all like a Nitro car. These motors do not have adjustable gear mesh. What happens is you need to pretty much have the pinion and the spur matched, so one goes up, one goes down sort of thing, in order to have the proper gear mesh. This is a chart detailing the proper spur and pinion gear mesh ratio that we need to have in order to achieve a certain desired result, based on whether you want more speed or less speed. The stock gear set here, I've highlighted it in yellow, is 57 and 17. You could tell that our speed here is basically 0, 0, 74 teeth total. That is what's known as the correct mesh. If you look at the number of teeth, it's a little bit displaced. I know these columns are a little weird here. It says correct mesh in parentheses here. The total number of teeth on a Baja always has to be 74. You guys see the 74 right here? Yep, it has to be 74. So the stock gear set is 57 and 17. The one we have, I've highlighted it, it says mine, we have 53 and 21. That gives us a result of an extra 25% speed, and of course, you know, a decrease in 25%. They call it power here, but really, I guess you could call that like off the line torque, whatever it is. Personally, for me, as long as you could do a donut, and you guys saw this Baja does donuts, it's fine. I like the speed gear sets. Now, this is fairly high gearing. There are even higher gears that go way below this, but at the end of the day, what's really important to understand is you have to have 74 teeth. Some people, you know, let's say, let's take this gear ratio for example, this 57 and 18. Notice it does not say correct mesh here on the right. That's because we're at 75 teeth. Use this chart, guys, if you want to make some gearing decisions for one of these Bajas. It'll work on any Rover, on any King motor, on any original HPI Baja. This is how the gearing works on something that has fixed gearing. Pretty interesting if you ask me. At this point, I place an order for the dampers. I'm just gonna wait for them. One of my buddies, Ben, now he's ordered up a couple of the spacers for me, and my understanding is he's gonna give them to me as a birthday gift. By the time you guys will be watching this video, my birthday's already passed, but thanks so much, Ben. You the man. He's also gonna give me a new front shock tower support. Now, I'm holding this Baja here not just because, you know, I want to lift some weights right here, right? I want to be cool just because I'm wearing a piston on my neck. Yeah, this is the actual Zenoah high RPM, low friction coated piston. It's my jewelry now whenever I do videos where the gas RC has a Zenoah motor. Check this out. Does this look appropriate to you? There's a nail in the front shock tower support. I could see it's fully cracked right over here. I'm going to show you guys a picture so you can get a better, clearer understanding of what I'm talking about. So it looks like this Baja was very, very abused, and the owner just like put a, you know, a metal rod in here. It goes without saying the whole front end is a little bit crooked, but it really isn't that big of a deal. The chassis is not bent. This thing does have an HD upper chassis support here, so seems to have done the job just fine. And now it's just gonna be a waiting game. I need my parts back, and then I could resume recording the actual top speed run. I will say, before I noticed there was some kind of situation with this Baja, I already thought that this thing was really, really fast. A lot of people ask me, well, how about the torque? The torque is fine. You know, I towed a tree with a Baja before. How much more torque do you want? It's a two-wheel drive chassis. Torque is adequate. What matters is the RPM and the speed.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do?
The parts are here. Ben came through for the Nitro gang over here. So far I did a little bit of work. I will finish up putting in the spacers into the Spur gear in a little bit. You could already see I have two of the dampeners right inside the Spur gear there. These are the remaining couple. I will put them in on camera in a little bit. Let's take a look at some of these parts. Here is the metal lower chassis brace. I gotta say this thing is very heavy duty, pretty thick. You know, if you put this thing on the front of the Baja right here, it goes right under the chassis over here. This is the weakest point in any Baja. A lot of times people ask me, what should they upgrade? Well, probably this piece should be the first upgrade you get for any style Baja. Anytime you take a landing, this is a very long chassis. Oftentimes, you will bend the front of this chassis. This is the front shock tower support. I will put this on later, probably not in this video, because the video will just never really end, you know? Here are the spacers that I needed. Basically just two little aluminum spacers, you know, that's what it is. But man, Ben, he got the parts hookup for the Nitro gang over here, so I really appreciate it, man. I know this is like a late birthday present for me. He also sent me this original HPI HD Spur gear mount. This is a pretty nice upgrade. It comes with a large front bearing there. If you notice in the front over here, where the lay shaft mount is for the transmission input, this is all plastic. Now for now, I might probably just run this because I really just would like to do one repair at a time. But eventually, if I have a problem with this, and chances are I will, especially running the speed gear set, I will stick this in there and it should be fine. I saved the last two dampeners here to show you guys that this is no joke. These things are really tight in there. I had to really squeeze this in. It is no cake, you know, it's not like these old ones. You can't just stick them in there. Now obviously I cleaned everything, washed it with soap and water, cleaned this gear plate as well. You don't want to put back dirty parts. It's just not how we operate on this channel. Okay, here we go. They are slightly directional. I can tell here they are kind of coming out, and here they are more or less kind of pressed in. So you gotta make sure you don't mess it up. So we're gonna put it in this way. It's fairly tough. Gotta make a lot of grunting noises when you do this. That one is a little tough going in. Got a persuader over here called a screwdriver. There we go. It's in. It's in. Get it in there, baby. The spur gear holder will just slot right into these holes, right? Like that. Boom. Also, you got to press it in fairly hard. There we go. Two-piece spur gear design, baby. Let's stick one of these spacers in here. Rip it apart. Gotta make noises. This isn't like working on electrics, you know? You're allowed to make grunting noises. Now I could just put the spacer in here. It just should go on normally. There we go. This creates a little bit of extra space for when we put the spur gear back on. And that's it, guys. First attempt at starting it after the repair. Hopefully everything is okay and we get some power down to the wheels. First pull, first start, baby. That's how we like it. Baja's fast, man. That's speed gearing. Can't even control it. Oh, right under me, baby. You like that? Let's start her up, baby. And now it's my turn. Oh, out of bounds, Baja, out of bounds. We got a second Baja on the track, baby. Nitro.
So fine, but her breath is like woo. She say she wanna dance, but she don't know how to woo. I'm iced out, ooh, looking like a star. Woo. Her name is Jenny, ooh, bitch don't have no panties. Woo. I'm Steph Curry. When I hit the three, I hit.
If you smell what the Nitro gang is cooking.
Girl so fine, but her breath is like woo. She say she wanna dance, but she don't know how to woo.
Nitro World Order.
Nitro World Order.